Good morning and thank you for joining us. It's just gone 9 o'clock and this is Sunrise. I am Alero Edu.
And I'm Neotagwe. Thank you for joining us, and we do hope that your day is coming out real good.
Well, I'm sure many of our viewers won't be watching us this morning because there have been fuel queues.
Thankfully we are mobile. So wherever you are at the fuel station, those that are waiting, and some have had to wait since yesterday. A friend of mine was at the fuel station from 10 p.m. yesterday and was only able to get fuel at about 4 a.m.
6 hours. Waste of man hours, to say the least. And have we been told why there's this crisis? Okay, marketers haven't been paid.
No, they've been paid some.
They were paid some yesterday.
They were paid some, and you understand they've started lifting.
So why should we wait till the whole nation is in this kind of trouble before we begin to pay? Is it that the money was not available?
I don't know if we can reach the finance minister this morning.
So that she can tell us exactly what went wrong.
She said, when our correspondent interviewed her, she said something, said, but they're also Nigerians and they should understand that we're trying. Times are tough.
Yeah, times are tough, but if you're going to have to pay anyway, why did you wait till there was this kind of problem before you started paying? Because you're going to pay anyway.
The Lupin president also said to him, said, what the federal government says they go through is that for every time they're bringing in this product, there's a processing of the payment. So by the time they're processing for this one that was brought in yesterday, another consignment has arrived. So they're starting another process. Then they get to a point and you know what, let's just put it all together and pay you. No.
It's not a new system, NT. So we should be able to develop a process, a system, so that this kind of bottleneck never arises where people stop importing petrol. Or better still, fix our refineries or build new refineries so that we don't have to import fuel.
You know what's going to... I was going to say that...
That is rocket science.
Don't we have a process already? We have refineries that are supposed to be, well, fixed or overhauled, as the case may be. And then I sat down and I was thinking, yes, they are illegal. But almost every other week, the NSCDC tells us how they discovered illegal refineries in certain locations, and obviously those guys were working and they were selling those products. They were making money for themselves, illegal as they are, and I'm not justifying the illegality whatsoever in any way. But why don't you go there, tell them to legalize it? If they, with their crude equipment, can refine fuel and sell and make money to the point that you get there and begin to destroy
fuel that's good enough
to be used and sold, it's, as you said.
But they tell us it will take X number of billions of dollars and 24 months or 36 months to actually build a refinery.
One of the things.
Okay, if we started 10 years ago, we would have built a few by now.
One of the things I think they do, or those that are supposed to be thinking, and I believe they are thinking, what they do is they want it all centralized. It has to be a big refinery.
It doesn't have to be.
So why don't we look at building small
refineries,
micro refineries? If you have 10 refineries properly organized and linked, I mean, if what we have is supposed to be doing a million liters per day, why don't we look for one that could do 100,000?
100,000 for this location.
100,000.
Exactly.
Fuel is everywhere and properly managed and organized.
No, you hear about a cabal. There's always a cabal.
But that's the other side of it. Would the oil marketers, sincerely, would they be sincere enough to say they'll be happy if the refineries are working and they are not able to import fuel anymore? It's just a question. If the refineries are working, I mean, Nigeria is self-sufficient and we don't have to import fuel.
Wait a minute.
Would they be happy?
Wait a minute. If Neotar runs a refinery, Neotar is not the one who's going to take the petrol from that refinery to the cars outside.
No.
He still needs marketers who are going to come and load the fuel
Yes.
and go sell for him.
Yes.
So they don't lose business. They're still in business.
You don't understand.
No, I don't.
If Nelta runs a refinery and the marketer needs to come and collect my product and take to the road those that need the product out there, the amount of money he's going to make doing this is X amount. But if he has to import and take to those same people,
He will make 10 times that much.
X amount.
Well, yeah, if the refineries come. Because if the
I'd
refineries...
rather you when the refineries come.
Okay.
Because
Well,
someday they will come.
but they'll have to, because we can't continue like this.
No.
The amount of money that we hear, the figures we hear being paid out in subsidies, I mean, they're just mind-boggling. And do we prefer to continue paying those monies rather than put those funds into building refineries?
These are all questions, and really, I do think that there's a solution around. I don't think the solution is far-fetched. There's a solution around to all of this.
I'm sure
But
those who are there are also aware of these solutions.
But would they let the solutions be? Because at the end of the day, it's going to cut. Hey, I know what you said before we came to this, you didn't want to talk about it. Why do you think the power situation hasn't changed, hasn't improved? Why do you think it doesn't seem, it looks as if it never works? Because those who are importing the generators and all of that need to make their money.
Netta, you're not going to drag me
No, I'm not
into
driving
this,
into it.
because I swore.
Somewhere along the line, in the power sector, in the oil and gas sector, there is sabotage somewhere. And some people need to go to jail.
A time will come very, very soon when we will have to think about Nigeria first.
Why not now?
A time will come soon.
Aleo, why do we have to wait for soon? Why can't we think about Nigeria
Because
now?
we're making too much money to think about anything else.
Oh, you're making too much money. Where are you spending the money? Outside
To
the
show off to you, I have a house in Dubai and I just bought myself a Rolls Royce. Come
I have
on.
like 5 houses. And
5 in Dubai, 3 in London, 3 in New York.
And 10 in Lagos, and I'm still living in a rented apartment. So what? You and I will enter the same 6 feet.
Oops. Reality check. Okay, fuel scarcity, which we don't have to experience, being the world's 6th largest producer of crude oil. And this is very, very painful. And I think we should all be collectively ashamed of ourselves as a nation that we have those queues, some of them are 2 miles long, out there of people waiting to buy fuel, and we produce crude oil, which is the raw material for petrol.
One of the things, there are other byproducts.
Plenty.
So by the time the refineries are working, it's not just petrol that will be coming out. It's not just kerosene, not just diesel. There are other things, byproducts of the crude that we produce that will come out, and that means raw materials for other industries can come out from that one refinery. But you know the other side of it. Fuel scarcity as it may be, refineries not working as they may be, things not appearing to work as they may be. The biggest problem is that syndrome, that show-off syndrome. Why do you think the labor is having issues? Why are they having issues?
We have 2 factions now, haven't we?
Very soon, I'm sure we'll get like 3 or 4 more, because some of them people also realize that no, I'm supposed to be in that place. It's my turn to be there. I mean, I had the right vision. I need to say I need labor to move, so I have to. And then you talk to 1 or 2 people who will come behind you, and there's another faction already. They'll call it the new NLC.
And once upon a time, the NLC was big and respected in this nation.
Hello? When the NLC says, we are going on strike in 21 days.
And everything in the nation ground to a halt.
Now NLC
Once upon a time, that was the NLC.
Now NSO says we're going on strike.
Who's listening?
A few people go on strike and the other ones go back to work.
Who's listening?
Simply because of that show-off syndrome. Selfishness.
Oh dear.
Because some of the people who come out and say they want to lead the labor unions are thinking of themselves. They're not thinking of the labor union. They're not thinking of a pressure group that can hold government or leadership accountable. They're not thinking that. They're thinking of, when I'm the labor leader, I can do this, I can do that, and then some people will come and see me and settle me because, hey, that is what appears. Mark the word, please. That looks like what is in play.
Oh dear, 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 dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
So labor, I mean,
Get your act together.
Mayday.
There were how many parallel rallies?
And labor, it wasn't funny. Mayday, when labor
And even
across the world is celebrating themselves, our own labor union is fighting itself.
To a point where our president wasn't even there.
What's he coming to do?
Because he wouldn't even know which one to attend.
Okay. If I attend the one in Abuja, what about the one in Lagos? Who is labor? Confusion.
Who is labor? Who is labor? Come on, labor, get your act together. You need to get to those days where you were the main man, where you directed labor in this country. What you said was law to every worker in the nation. You need to get back to those days.
Indeed.
Yes.
I mean, indeed.
Yeah.
So the past leaders get together and sort out this house, this labor house. Let everything get back to line.
And before we get to the menu, we need to also talk a little bit about the 4 Nigerians who were killed in Indonesia. Yes.
That sigh, I just sighed.
I mean, a lot has been said about it, but if you do the crime, I mean, people were shouting about the death penalty being barbaric, and once upon a time, if you did drugs or if you were caught with drugs in Nigeria as well, the penalty was death. People seem to have forgotten that.
Yeah, they'll tell you that was military era.
Military era,
They were
okay,
not in a
fine.
democratic
Okay.
system of government.
Okay.
And so, but I do think that, as you said, if you can do the crime, be ready to do the time. Now, some others will say, if you take a life, your life should go as well.
Yeah, but
Because-
how many lives are they taking when they bring in those drugs? Indonesia
taking-
says 33 people every
A
day.
day. And so
33 a day.
the Indonesian government decided, we want to end this.
Yes.
So, Honorable Abikadabi said something that when you enter the Indonesian airport,
That's right.
I haven't been to Indonesia.
Almost every mile, there's a sign.
Every meter.
There's a sign.
A friend of mine said, you're talking about entering the airport. As you are about to board the plane to Indonesia, they are telling you, if you have anything that appears
To be
that looks like or can be said to be an illicit drug, drop it
deposited now.
now. So they tell you from the start. So going in there why would you know that, okay, if you must even do it, well, should you even carry drugs? But if you must carry drugs, I mean, how would you know that this is fire, you just carry your hand and put in there because you feel like you can, probably you've gone in and come out safe.
No, those who are caught, they don't know how to do it.
Okay, so
They
you
don't know.
that.
I know better, so I'm going to do it. And they're not going to catch me.
She said something, Honorable Kadabi said that as at 2008, when the Nigerian delegation, the government's delegation went to Indonesia, there were 21 Nigerians on death row. 4 have just been killed. What happened to the other ones? Were they freed, or are they just serving time? Have they been moved from death row, or are they all been killed? And indeed, one of those that was killed, his sentence was life, and they committed it to death. So at the end of the day, it boils down to one thing. I mean, there was a time when we hardly heard of Nigerians carrying drugs. There was a time it was like that. I mean, so values. What are the values by which we're living by? If a nation as a whole, some say Nigerians have lost, the nation has lost its value system. What about you as an individual? having a set of values by which you live,
And imparting
respect for
those
human life,
to your children.
value for one another, why won't you build up your own value system, pass it on to your children? I mean, growing up, I heard this: a good name is better than all the
riches in the
A
world.
good name.
Yes.
So you walk into a place. Yes, who are you? My name is Neotag.
Are you
The son of name.
Yes.
Name. But now it's not name,
It's how much you have in your pocket.
Thank
That's
you.
why every Nigerian wants to, if they have to carry drugs to Indonesia to make the money, they will do
Do you
anything.
know another thing you do in the Asian countries? If you're caught and proven to be corrupt, death sentence.
Yeah.
In some of the Asian countries.
Yes, we heard about China, some minister who was sentenced to death, yes,
For stealing public funds.
for public funds, yes. Well, those laws are a bit strict, but they have their uses. They have their uses. Enough said, Beata. Before we put our foot in it. Yes, let's look at the menu. We'll be starting the program this morning by examining Nigeria's political economy.
We'll also look at the Constitution, the amendment controversy.
And after that, of course, it is only apt that we should look at the latest military victories in the fight against Boko Haram.
And then we would have the artist of the week. It's a concise, compact package.
This morning, yes. And we urge you to go grab your cup of tea. Assuming you're at home, but if you're in the field queue, you can still relax,
Yes.
recline your seat, because we saw some of those queues this morning. Very long they were too. Recline your seat and watch us on your mobile device.
Yes, indeed. Just go to, if you haven't downloaded the app, then just use m.channelcb.com and you can watch us from wherever you are.
See you in just a moment.